Good evening, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Sophie Erber. In her first official news conference since July, South Dakota's Governor Kristi Noem says the state does not need to mask mandate since it's not working in other communities. We have the details from that press conference right now in our top story for you at 5.
And I can't tie consistently a policy that a government put forward that really made a big difference, especially when it comes to masks, in slowing down the rate of spread. And that is the consistent that I have always said that I would look at. I would look at the science, that I would look at the data and the facts, and really put forward some ideas and provisions for the state of South Dakota based on that.
And despite the governor's claims, experts from the World Health Organization to the White House Coronavirus Task Force to the University of Iowa say mask mandates indeed help reduce the spread of the virus. Governor Noem, however, insisting that South Dakotans need to take personal responsibility to prevent the spread. The governor adding that she does not wish to divide people over the use of wearing a mask. Noem making these comments as the South Dakota State Medical Association announces that it strongly supports a statewide mask mandate. And Tuesday night, the Sioux Falls City Council reconsidered last week's mask mandate. They passed the ordinance on a 6-2 vote. Last week's proposed mandate was struck down by Sioux Falls Mayor Paul Tennecken, but he says the situation in Minnehaha has changed. Local health officials also supporting a mask mandate in the city limits. The new ordinance, however, does not impose any penalties for failing to wear your mask. Iowa tonight seeing a record number of coronavirus deaths in one single day. 40. This as hospitals report another day of record hospitalizations. Let's take a look now at the latest COVID-19 numbers here in Siouxland. Woodbury County health officials recording new cases in the past 24 hours, while 59 patients are currently in hospital due to COVID-19. In Nebraska, Dakota County with 17 new positive tests today. The county recording 278 confirmed cases over the past 2 weeks. And in South Dakota, Union County recording its 19th COVID-19 fatality. Union County reports almost 1,100 cases now. Teachers in the state of Nebraska calling out for help tonight. A statewide survey by the Nebraska State Education Association showing that 92% of teachers say a mask mandate is needed, and nearly 1 in 4 say they plan to leave the profession. The president of the NSEA tells KCAU the workload is overwhelming for teachers during the pandemic, as 80% of teachers in the Northeast Nebraska region say they're stressed out and frustrated.
You can't teach kids that aren't safe, and you can't teach when teachers aren't safe. And so we need to really look at what we're doing and step back, communicate well, care about others, and then really come up with some actions that will help.
And coming up tonight at 6, KCAU 9 News reporter Lydia Vasquez sharing how teachers in rural Nebraska feel about this issue. As 2 large pharmaceutical companies are getting closer to rolling out a COVID-19 vaccine, state and local health departments tonight are trying to create some plans for distributing it. But these efforts could hit more roadblocks in rural communities. KCAU 9's Jesse Chernur reports.
At least 2 coronavirus vaccines are within arm's reach, but polls show some Americans are still skeptical about taking them.
Reassure folks that it's safe and they should come get it.
Louisiana Senator Bill Cassidy hopes the rollout, starting with healthcare workers and nursing homes, makes everyone else more confident.
If your neighbor's a nurse in a rural hospital and you really have a high regard for her, I think it will make you feel more comfortable, the fact that 2 months later she's doing great.
Cassidy, a doctor himself, is working to help states reach underserved populations and solve storage and distribution problems in rural areas.
It's challenging because of the cold chain requirement for some of the vaccines, but we know it's possible.
Different vaccines require separate distribution plans, but Dr. Monsef Slaoui, the chief advisor for the Trump administration's Operation Warp Speed, says agreements with CVS and Walgreens will help rural areas.
These vaccines will be available there.
There are also concerns about how the controversial transition of power from the Trump White House to a Biden administration could impact vaccine distribution.
More people may die if we don't coordinate.
President-elect Joe Biden continued to pressure the Trump administration this week to share its plan.
It puts us behind.
But Cassidy argues the vaccine companies have their own distribution strategies.
No matter who the president is, this is going to go forward.
With the first rollout possibly just weeks away. In Washington, Jesse Chernur, KCAU 9 News.
It's time now to turn our attention to the weather we had here today in Siouxland. Meteorologist Marcus Beasley standing by. And Marcus, we definitely warmed up, temperatures in the 60s for some of us, but that wind really made it feel chillier than it was despite the sun.
That's right. We had wind speeds today around 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusting at times up to around 30 miles per hour. So a very breezy day here throughout Siouxland, but temperatures warming up very nicely all throughout the region. Pretty much everyone reaching up at least into the lower 60s. Staying in the upper 50s there in Orange City and Sheldon as well as Esterville, but Spencer and Lamar's reaching up to 61. 63 for your recorded high in Sioux City, Storm Lake, and Yankton today. 62 in Wayne, 66 in Denison and Carroll, so a very warm day down to the southeast. Overnight tonight, temperatures only dropping into the low to mid 40s, so a cool night ahead, but not a cold one. It does look like we are going to see an even warmer day tomorrow, believe it or not, but then a cool down for this weekend. More details in the 9 on 9. Sophie?
All right, thanks a lot, Marcus. For a lot of people, seniors included, there are no gifts at the holidays, and one area agency is working to change that. For the second straight year now, Connections Area Agency is hosting a Secret Santa for Seniors program. The program pairing volunteers with seniors. And this year, to keep things safe with coronavirus, the volunteers will mail gift cards and their letters to seniors. The holidays can, of course, be a lonely time.
It does really remind us of, the spirit of the season, and to recognize and talk to people about, just thinking about a simple gift card that they can use, hearing their conversations that they're excited to get this Christmas card.
If you'd like more information on how to participate in this holiday program, you can visit our website right now, SiouxlandProud.com. Just click on our featured content tab. And of course, as we've been mentioning, lots of changes coming to the holiday season. One Siouxland event is looking to make the most of that. The holiday tour of homes is moving into the newly renovated Warrior Hotel with the help of social distancing in place. Instead of busing groups around Siouxland to individual homes, 5 designers have decorated suites inside the hotel for groups of 8 to enjoy. Proceeds from the holiday tour of homes all goes to help the Big Brothers Big Sisters organization of Siouxland. And in news out of Washington, D.C., President Trump firing his top cybersecurity official. He publicly rejected claims of a rigged election. We have that story coming up.
And it is looking like we're going to be warm through Friday, and then a weekend cool down moves in. There is a slight rain chance with that as well. Details coming up after the break.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Sophie Erber and meteorologist Marcus Beasley. This is KCAU 9 News at 5.
Most of the precipitation will stay in southern Siouxland and to the south of us. Sunday, 46 degrees, so a little bit cooler there. But as we head into next work week, 50 degrees on Monday, 51 on Tuesday, and then by the middle to the end of the week, mid to upper 50s. Thanksgiving looks really nice on Thursday with mid 50s. Again, this time of year, our temperatures should be in the low to mid 40s, so anything above that is above average.
You know what? If this is a sign of things to come, I am hopeful for this winter.
Yeah, me too. It's starting out pretty nice here as we get to the tail end of fall.
It is, and a warm turkey day. Thanks a lot, Marcus. Well, it is a scientific miracle to be 62 and pregnant, but it wasn't an accident. We have the bizarre story coming up, but first, another top official fired by President Trump in the wake of the election. Why the head of cybersecurity is out tonight, next. In Washington, D.C. tonight, President Trump firing his top cybersecurity official who had publicly rejected claims of a rigged election, calling it the most secure in American history. ABC's Cecilia Vega has the very latest.
Overnight, President Trump fired via Twitter a top election security official who had publicly rebuked his false claims of massive voter fraud. Christopher Krebs, an appointee of the president, ran the Department of Homeland Security's Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency until, that is, President Trump ousted him effective immediately. Krebs, one of few inside the administration to go public with concerns about the president's baseless rigged election claims. Just hours before he was fired, Krebs gutted a central claim of the president's that glitches in voting machines changed votes for him to Joe Biden. Krebs calling the assertion false, tweeting, "Protect 2020." It echoed a tersely worded statement from his agency days earlier, saying there is no evidence that any voting system deleted or lost votes, changed votes, or was in any way compromised, and flat out declaring this election the most secure in American history. President Trump calling Krebs' statement highly inaccurate. But even that claim was promptly slapped with a warning label by Twitter. Krebs' ouster drew immediate outrage from many on Capitol Hill.
This has been the story of the Trump administration for 4 years. Anyone that had the audacity to speak truth to power, anybody that wouldn't carry the president's false line, would get fired and replaced by someone who would.
Nebraska Republican Senator Ben Sass saying Krebs obviously should not be fired. It's just the latest move from a president seeming more desperate by the day to cling to a false reality. A mindset fueled, according to sources, largely by Rudy Giuliani, who made his first appearance as head of the president's re-election legal team in a Pennsylvania courtroom on Tuesday. A last-ditch effort, but the reality of the 18 post-election lawsuits filed by the president's campaign, so far the courts have quashed 14 of them.
Well, it might not be a matter of national security, but keeping an eye out for thieves on the internet is still important for all online shoppers. This week marks International Fraud Awareness Week, and of course, with the holidays just around the corner, there are ways that people can get the cyber deals while avoiding the scams. For tips on how to stay safe, you could find the full story. It's on our website right now, SiouxlandProud.com, or check out the KCAU 9 News app. She's one of the oldest women in the country to give birth, and she's more than 6 decades old. The story of how this woman had her next child coming up. Stay with us. A Waterloo, Illinois mom will become one of the oldest women in the country to give birth. But having a baby at 62 years of age brings up some ethical issues. Tonight, Mandy Murphy reports on why her doctor argues that women should not be treated differently than men when it comes to having a baby.
Most people John and Kathy Blantner's age would be thinking about retirement and slowing down. Not this Waterloo, Illinois dentist and his wife. John is 66. Kathy is 62 and pregnant.
I'm not thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be 62 and have a baby. I'm thinking, how wonderful, I get to have a baby and I'm 62.
They also have a 12-year-old son and a 2-year-old toddler. In April, Kathy will become one of the oldest women to ever give birth in the United States.
Do you have the energy for this?
Well, I get up every day and I try to have a great day.
Kathy was 40 when she and John got married.
Met the love of my life, and she wants to have children, and I want to be supportive.
They said that your eggs are no longer capable of supporting life, and so that was a bit of a blow.
But where there's a will, there's a way. Kathy got pregnant through in vitro fertilization at age 50. Her son Johnny is now 12.
You have one, and then you start, well, how wonderful it is. I want another one. It took 10 years of more struggles.
Kathy was almost 60. She reached out to numerous infertility doctors.
What did they say?
A lot of them said no. We won't treat you.
Why?
Because of your age.
Most doctors follow the ethical guidelines set by the American Society for Reproductive Medicine. It says women over 55 years old shouldn't get pregnant because of the risk to their health and their longevity. Guidelines say there is a greater likelihood that one or both of the parents could die before the child is an adult. Then Kathy turned to Dr. Sherman Silber at St. Luke's Hospital.
The first reaction will be, are you crazy?
But after months of consideration, Dr. Silber decided Kathy had every right to give birth again.
Does a 59 or 61-year-old woman deserve to have a baby? Well, no one asked that about 90-year-old guys, or when Strom Thurmond, the senator in the U.S. Senate, had a baby at age 81.
Age wasn't the only unusual part to this story. This time, Kathy would get pregnant from eggs donated by her own daughter, combined with her husband John's sperm. Her older daughter, Sarah, is from a first marriage and shares no DNA with John. And thanks to her daughter, Kathy was able to give birth to Charles 2 years ago at 60 years old.
She carried him. She is the mother. I don't feel any genetic connection other than I'm a sister.
Now Kathy is pregnant again, all because of her daughter Sarah's eggs. And another unusual twist. Sarah is also expecting. Both will deliver around the same time, and both are having girls.
Taking a live look outside right now, Marcus returns with one more check on our forecast through the weekend coming up next, so stay with us. Before we wrap up here at 5 today, let's check in first with Tim for what's coming up at 6. Hi, Tim.
Hey, Sophie. Good afternoon again. As those coronavirus numbers continue to climb, some Siouxland teachers are speaking out not only about their safety, but the way the educational process is working. Our Lydia Vasquez is in Northeast Nebraska tonight. She'll share what teachers are saying coming up at 6. Also tonight at 6, a local holiday tradition benefiting Big Brothers Big Sisters of Siouxland is getting a twist this year because of the virus. Each year, folks pay to tour several homes professionally decorated for the holidays, but because of coronavirus, guests won't be touring homes this season. Find out where they'll be and what they'll be able to check out coming up. And as Thanksgiving nears, folks, of course, will be putting together their shopping list for the big meal. If garlic is on the recipe list, you may want to think twice before just grabbing that clove off of the shelf. We'll explain why there's actually a choice to be made. That's coming up at 6 as well.
Interesting. I do like garlic with my Thanksgiving meal, so maybe I'll have to cook that this year. And a beautiful night. We just missed sunset. We caught a little bit over Storm Lake, but temperatures holding on for the most part.
Yeah, it's going to be a warm night for this time of year. Temperatures only dropping into the low 40s tonight. Typically, we'd have temperatures in the mid-20s, so well above where we would normally be this time of year. We are going to have those partly to mostly cloudy skies tonight, and that's also going to help keep those temperatures a little bit warmer, acting as an insulating layer there. Winds will be out of the south at around 10 tonight, so really not too much wind. Tomorrow we'll have a high in the mid to upper 60s, so it is going to be another very, very warm day with unseasonably warm temperatures. We are going to see winds around 5 to 15, so a little bit of a breeze out there and also a mix of clouds and sun. A little bit cooler on Friday, mid-50s, and then it looks like Saturday will drop back into the 40s, around where we should be this time of year. And we could see a few showers on Saturday, but I'm not expecting too much.
Not bad at all. Thanks a lot, Marcus, and thank you for joining us. I'll see you back here at 6. Until then, have a great night, everyone.